Welcome back, Norm.
There you go.
Forex Gal's excited to see you.
Can you hear me now?
Got you. So a lot
Yes?
of people are happy to see you back. Well, at least Forex Gal is happy to see you back here. Screen you
I think I
found.
got it now. How about that?
Got
Can
it.
you
You
see a
do.
corn chart now?
Yeah.
Great.
All right, everyone. Norm's been guest on F.A.C.E for years, and his expertise is using his planetary work. He was a trader at SIBO, and he started doing astrological things to meet girls in college, and turned into a career for him. And if you want to learn about these things that are pretty esoteric and you don't see a lot of people that teach this type of analysis, Norm is a very good teacher. So if you have an interest in it, get a hold of him after his presentation. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Dale. Just a
Yeah.
quick summary, add on to your introduction there. I've been studying the markets for over 50 years. I started when I was 15 years old, and now I'm 69. And like you said, I was started in investing using astrology, abilities on the planets. Back in college, did that successfully, added to a small inheritance, and that led to my buying a membership in 1975 on the then fledgling Chicago Board Options Exchange, and then later on I traded also at the Chicago Board of Trade. So I've been doing this most of my life, you know. So there we go. So here we go. I'm gonna simplify your trading. This system here is greatly simpler than just about everybody else's out there. It looks complicated on the surface, but once you get used to talking about the moon and the planets and all that sort of thing, nothing I had to do is over a grade school level, I promise you. All right, so notice here's your corn chart. Oh, we're going to look at the moon. Why do we? I have other cycles that occurred in the past month, but we're going to review the new moon because we got another new moon coming up in a few days. And this is something that you can go check on Google. You can punch in the new moon, full moon dates, and you can go check your charts and see if Norm's pulling your leg or if it's all for real. It's all objective, empirical information. I can't change anything you're looking at here. I can't pick the date. It's all. I have no control over any of this. Either it works or it doesn't work. That's it. And you can go check it yourself and see if the dates I'm giving you are the correct dates, because it's all based on either the moon or the planets. So let's go look at the new moon back in July, the afternoon of the 20th. We had a new moon in the sign of Cancer. Well, anytime we have a new moon or full moon, I like to borrow from the famous line from the movie Casablanca. We round up the usual suspects: financials, grains, precious metals. And in this case, because it was in Cancer, we'll be emphasizing silver. It may or may not work. We'll see. So here's your grains. There's corn. Corn rallied up on the 20th. There's the 20th there, the new moon. And that was a nice little top there for the corn. If you folks who don't know about grains, their arithmetic is very similar to S&P. Maybe you know about S&P. Every penny movement here is $50. Here's gold. Gold was going sideways until the 20th. And then the next day it broke out to the upside. So I'm going to say that something happened there with the new moon. Here's silver. Did the same thing as gold. Was going pretty much sideways and then broke out on the 20th. And then it was rocket time for both the gold and the silver after the 20th. Here's your beans, rallied right into the moon there, and then kind of topped out there on the moon. Okay, S&P, a little bit early on the S&P, so we're going to have to use a red arrow for a miss. I have to be right within 1 day, or I count it as a miss. Here's a green arrow. That nailed the top in the wild and crazy NASDAQ right there. If the S&P isn't crazy enough for you, you can always go with the NASDAQ, right? Here's bonds. Bonds were going sideways, but they took an extra day to break out, so I had to count that as a miss. Here's wheat. Went down into the moon and made a low and then went up. Notice I don't have an opinion here right ahead of time. If the markets were using Newton's law, we're going to try to predict that, and with every action, there's an opposite equal reaction. We're trying to predict when the market is going to react to the move into that time. We don't have to have an opinion. Notice I don't have any moving average or oscillators. I don't count waves. I don't have an opinion. It's very simple. It's a lot less work than what everybody else is doing out there. And I think I do a lot better than 95% that aren't making any money, right? So here we go. Here's the dollar. That was a miss. It was just straight down on the dollar melt downtime of a dollar in July. Here we're going sideways here into the new moon. British pound. Now we're in currency land, Forex land. And then there you go. Then it breaks out to the upside on the British pound. Canadian dollar did kind of pull back there into the new moon and then took off. And here's the euro. Did the old sideways and breakout business there at the moon on the 20th, 21st. Here's your yen. That was the best one of all. It pulled down into the moon, made a low, and then took off to the upside. And here's what's coming up. So we got, I'm going to go back a day or so, and we had Venus at an extreme point on Wednesday night, and we have to allow one day, and that's why we're still looking at these a day later to this morning. And so there we have cattle, copper, cotton, stocks. Always stocks respond to everything, sugar, and wheat. And then this weekend we have Uranus. There you go, Dale. Your favorite planet, Uranus, turning retrograde. What is that? Well, the planets from the point of view of the Earth appear. That's the operative word here. Appear to stop their motion and reverse their direction due to the relative motion of the Earth. The analogy, the sort of the model for this is you're driving on the highway and say you're doing 60 miles an hour. And then you look at your speedometer. We'll use you, Dale, as our model here now.
Okay.
And speedometer says, Dale, you're doing a nice leisurely 60 miles an hour. Way to go. And then Dale looks out his side window, and all of a sudden he has the impression he's going backwards. What happened? Somebody passed Dale going 70, and then that gave him the impression he's going backwards by 10 miles an hour.
Can I ask you?
What's that?
Can I ask you a question on these retrogrades and Uranus is a planet, Taurus is a constellation.
Well, as soon as I finish this, okay?
No, I just want to ask because it's based on your 8/14 date. Does Taurus have any particular aspect to it, like stubbornness or anything? Is there anything about?
Yeah, well, I want to finish explaining to people what retrograde means.
Okay.
Because there's not going to be any point in talking about it if they don't understand what we're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just about to finish. I was going to say this is an Einstein thing, relativity. Everything's relative. And when that person passed Dale, Einstein would say there's two bodies, and when the one body passes the other body, one car passes the other car, there's an exchange there. There's a change in their relationship, and there's an exchange of energy. That's what Einstein would tell you. And I'll tell you, here's a general principle now. That's one of my top principles. When the planets change trend, the market changes trend. And this is one of my top things. When a planet stops to turn retrograde, and the opposite is it stops that's backwards, retrograde is backwards, or when it stops to go direct. That's a very high percentage thing. I would say it bats about somewhere in the neighborhood of 75%. It will give you a change in trend, and this usually a change in direction for the market. And it also has interesting properties, and often the market, it will act like a magnet in that the market will zip up to the high or zip down to the low the last several weeks, and as we go into that. So I think although we were weak overnight, I don't know what we're doing now on the S&P, but I would think like we did on Thursday when we opened weak, and we rallied all day because that was the Venus thing there. Now we got Uranus. I think we might do the same thing today. If we have a sharp down today into the new moon, into Uranus, then we'll probably make a low one. But I think the more likely scenario is that we're probably going to go up and test those lows again. By the way, the S&P, is knocking right on the all-time high. We got a pandemic. We got a recession. Maybe you could call it a depression, but the stock market doesn't seem to care. So there you go. We're pennies or a few handles a few dollars away from February's all-time high on the S&P. The Nasdaq has already made a new all-time high as a couple weeks ago. So there we go. So anyway, so Uranus turning retrograde in the sign Taurus. Now we can talk about the sign Taurus, Dale. That's Taurus the
Okay.
bull. So
Right.
we'll be looking at, as you might guess, we'll be looking at cattle, and then because it's Uranus, which is, has to do with in astrology, has to do with electricity. That's copper is your big conductor for electric, and then because it's in Taurus, I got the cotton and stocks. Okay, and then we're
Good.
going to I'm going to show the charts here in a minute. And then we're going to new moon in Leo, which again, we round up the usual specs. That was the Uranus was over the weekend here. So we look into Monday's opening, probably Monday. We'll get some big reversal in Monday. And then on Tuesday night, we have a new moon in the sign Leo. And so we'll round up our usual suspects, financials, grains, precious metals, and especially corn, which is a Leo item, gold, and OJ. Okay, so watch those markets. If you're interested in those markets, watch those for extremes. That's what we're looking for these markets that get to extremes in these windows. Okay, that I designated windows. So there we go. Here's cattle. I did these charts last night. We want to look at these charts as we get to the close of the day or Monday's opening. So far, cattle is on its highs, so that would be a good candidate for a possible short there on cattle. Notice I don't have an opinion. The system gives you what tells you what to do. Okay, thinking is hazardous to your financial health. The less you think, you better you will do in trading. All right, here's copper. It's kind of in a choppy, sloppy, choppy middle. It better zoom up or zoom down if you want to do anything in copper. Otherwise, I'd leave it alone. If it's going sideways, that's not good. Newton would tell you don't do anything because the opposite of, reaction to sideways is more of the same. It's a mirror image. So you're just probably going to get more of the same. Kind of the same thing here on the cotton right now. It's in the middle of the range. Want to see a zoom up or zoom down here into Friday's close, and then you might have something. Sugar is on its highs here now. It has to turn because this is based on that Venus point we had Wednesday night and Thursday. I give it one day. It has to turn down here today, or it's going to be a miss. All right, that's pretty much it. Did you have any questions or comments, Dale, before I go on to tell the folks how they can get a hold of me?
Well, it's related to that. One of our attendees, Narij Jane, said that she's tried to email you and it bounced back. So,
Well, I don't know what email are they using.
yeah, we'll see. Is this the one you use, Narij? And Winski, right here? If you're still with us.
And embark with a Q. A lot of people like to put a G there where there's a Q.
Okay,
That's
that may be
that's
it.
a Q right there.
All
Embark, BARQ. If you're an American and you drink soda pop, you might know about Barks Root Beer. That's Coca-Cola's
Oh,
brand
yeah.
of EMBARQMAIL.com. And you
Okay.
can Skype me too, or you could call me.
Yeah, you
I'm in.
could take a screenshot of his contact info right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I got
All right,
free
cool.
classes. I got a free day trading class. I got an advanced swing trading class requires about 5 to 6 hours of training. So we'll talk about the deal on that. And I teach a GAN. You can learn GAN. I've reduced GAN to about 20 minutes. Most people are tortured
20
by GAN
years.
for 5 to 10 years. That's a
Yeah.
5 to 10 year torture. I got it reduced to about 20 minutes. And you can learn advanced Fibonacci. I'm going to teach you Lucas numbers. Almost Fibonacci people. A lot of traders don't know, never heard of Lucas. And so advanced Fibonacci, fractals, I'll teach you fractals, all this stuff. And I've reduced everything to a grade school level. Now you don't need any fancy formulas. If you had to do the fancy formulas, I couldn't do it. Anything over grade school level, I couldn't do. So I learned how to do all this stuff simple. I'm big on simple. All right, so I hope I can help some of your folks. Call me right away. We'll get you set up for the September class schedule, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dale, for having me on. Any more questions or comments before we
Any
call
more
it a day?
questions for Nikita saying, oh, so it isn't based just on planets because you use other tools. But a lot of it is related to, everything's related to each other, isn't it?
Everything's related to what?
Each other. I mean, planets, cycles. I mean,
Yeah, well,
you can't do it without the planets. Anything, right?
right. Well, everything's related. We're all connected together.
Yeah.
The cosmologists would tell you that we're made out of stardust. When the universe was created, it was all a bunch of matter splattered all over the place, and we're made out of the same stuff the stars and the planets are made out of. We're all vibrating with the same atoms and molecules. Just a matter of how they got mixed together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
One of Gann's big things was he said everything is vibrating. You know.
yeah. Anyway, this I think is an opportunity to learn things that you're not going to really find from a guy who has been delving into it and refining it for all of these decades. And hey, let's face it, Norm, you and I have been around for a while. We're not going to be around forever. It's an opportunity to learn from somebody who really is very well known for this type of work, and it's because it's good work. Okay, so Norm, have a great weekend. Maybe I'll see you before the holidays this October. And thanks for coming in today. I hope some people sign up and take advantage of your knowledge.
Thank you very much, Dale, and looking forward to helping some of your folks. Please contact me right away. I get busy at the end of the month here, so the best time to contact me would be today. Okay.
Someone's saying you should write a book.
I'm sorry?
Someone asked if you have a book.
I don't have a book. You have it. You can talk to me.
Yeah, there you go. He's the book. So with that being said, everyone, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Hope we laid it out on the court for you guys this week. Have a great weekend. Do your work on the weekend so that you're prepped for next week. And adios. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Norm, again. You're welcome, Skip. You too, Nikita. Adios.